I think my favorite memory is actually memories of the 7.5 years that I played with Bob in the Continentals. We started out as a high school band playing for young kids. We ended up playing on the professional level in clubs and doing shows with famous recording artists, and it was a learning experience all the way through, and I enjoyed every minute of it. Bob Marriott and I had known each other since probably we were in grade school because of Boy Scouts and a number of other things. And so it wasn't uncommon for us to have an association with each other, but when we actually started playing together, it became a kind of a different relationship. Larry Hensick, who is not here and unfortunately can't record, was a young 15-year-old when he first joined the band, and he grew a lot in that process. But Larry and I, he's like my brother in many, many ways. And Ricky Lee, who was the keyboard player, went all the way from playing a little harmonica and lots of keyboard and singing a little bit, all the way to playing Hammond organ and doing a number of other things along the way. So, and Chuck, of course, Chuck was an accomplished guitar player, but he was also a better singer, and so he filled that role with us. Chuck Vallent, Bob, and I all went to school together at Osawatomie High School, and it wasn't uncommon for there to be lots of mixing of groups. And so when we went, and he was the first of several people who sang with us who were black, we ended up in a situation in which he was just one of us. We were all friends. We all enjoyed each other's company. We all hung out together in our homes. We didn't have any problems with any of that. And the music we liked to play tended to be rhythm and blues and old-time rock and roll, which has a lot of black roots in it. There are lots of people along the way. The people at Oak Lodge and Clifford Poindexter and a number of other people who kind of helped us when we first got going. And there were people in Kansas City that were kind of important to helping us, coach us along the way. Joining the Musicians Union was a big deal because they did a lot to make us think about it as a business and not as just something that we were doing because we were doing it for fun. We played within a 500-mile radius of Kansas City, all over colleges, lots of dance halls. I think one of my favorite shows was Del Shannon when we played at the University of Oklahoma for their homecoming show, and we had our own James Brown version of the opening, and then we did Del Shannon. We did a lot of Chuck Berry, which paid off later when we actually played with Chuck, and a number of other events along the way that we were 5 guys who all kind of grew up together and did lots of things. We were all friends. Well, the music scene in Kansas has changed dramatically from the standpoint that we all think of bands as garage bands when they first start, and they were, but bands played, of young kids, played at school, and then there were places called teen towns or teen hops, and we all played in there. And then as you grew up, you would move from there to the beer joints and the places where young adults were, and then you would move up to places where people would call clubs today, and then you do shows, and you do lots of other kinds of advanced kinds of performance, which meant also the music that you played. Old-time rock and roll didn't sell very well in adult clubs, so now you had to do much more sophisticated music. And we would perform not just with Chuck, but with vocal groups, both male and female, and we would do a lot of shows where things like the Shirelles and other popular groups of the time were the background music that we were doing. bars don't allow anyone in until you're 21. There's just no place for a lot of young kids to kind of get their chops and get everything in playing position. And you do that basically by getting out and performing. And we kind of had a philosophy. Once we learned the song, we went out and played. And the more we played, the better we got. And we had a lot of adults who stepped in and said, you know, if you did this, this would be better. So unfortunately, a lot of that tutorial work just isn't there anymore.